everybody. Welcome to this episode of the Disc Golf Answer Man. I am Bobby Cool, Daddy Slick Breeze, and I have with me Eric SmashBoxx McCabe.
Yes, good to be here.
Good to be here.
Again.
Good to be here at the Memorial. We've kind of taken things over here at SmashBoxx Central.
I'm not sure where Terry is right now.
Yeah,
but
I think
we
he's
saw
over
an open mic and went for it.
So we are going to take over and see if you guys, if you're on our Facebook group, make sure you go to Disc Golf Answer Man Facebook group and send us any questions we'll ask you. But first, we'll tell you, Eric was out there watching some of the action out there. Tell us, Eric, what was it like out there on the course?
Hot.
It was very hot.
Very hot and skippy.
And skippy?
Yeah, skippy. It was very hot out there today.
Yeah, we were walking around the Vista course. There's not a whole lot of shade around the Vista course, and a lot of dry grass and things like that. So
it was great. I've actually been here about every day at about 7 a.m. So watched the ladies tee today. I did some live tweets with them.
Yeah.
And then followed up a couple other guys, and then followed the lead group in, and yeah, it's been a great day today.
Awesome.
Hey, wait a minute. What are you guys doing here?
Oh,
Johnny.
Maybe we aren't supposed to be here.
I think you guys stepped into the wrong mic.
Hold on, what are you clowns doing in here?
Sorry.
Get out of here.
Jeez.
Yo. God, trying to steal our viewers?
Always. They're always trying to get in on our thunder. They are.
Hey, what's going on here?
I went live and suddenly they took over.
Yeah, I mean, I know they're fighting to try and get their own clientele, their own people to watch them and all, but I don't think stepping on our SmashBoxx or inside our SmashBoxx. I mean, goodness.
Jeez.
So, anyway, welcome. What are we at? Podcast number 77.
Yeah.
Here. It's also our day 3 recap of the 2016 Memorial presented by Discraft. Johnny, before we get to any of our guests, I think... well, should we talk a little live broadcast, a little technology maybe?
Oh, do I have to? Oh.
When it's your fault, we do.
No. It's usually my fault. And I'll say that honestly because, I mean, this particularly wasn't my fault, but it was on my side. We have you guys pretty well locked down now with technology. Once in a while, one of our tear decks maybe overheats or it shuts down. I kick over to the other one. People usually don't notice. But this, I'm sitting in front of my computer and I'm watching... everything like normal. We get to hole 15 and suddenly my connection just starts dying. And I have no idea why it happened. I think it was maybe a Time Warner Cable thing. I'm the only one in the house. I've got everything turned off just to make sure no one's streaming Netflix or anything. But yeah, it just died and I couldn't get it back. And finally I shut everything down. Normally I just do a quick restart of a Wirecast sometimes and it comes back and people just notice a blip. But I had to shut basically everything down, bring it all back up, and then we were pretty good. We lost one hole. We lost hole 15, which it's a fun hole. I'm a little disappointed. We couldn't have lost like 16 or something.
Yeah, 15 is a long par 4, but I'd rather lose one long par 4 than say 2 or 3 par 3s. We want to give everyone as much golf as possible, and it was unfortunate. And what's really too bad is, if it was going to happen, it's too bad it didn't happen during the actual backup, so they would have missed 0 golf.
Yeah, exactly.
But, again, that's the way technology goes, and that's the way you screw things up. So no.
I try.
On a serious note, from what you could tell, because obviously I couldn't always stay on top of what's being said, but it sounds like people were relatively understanding. I know we dropped as many as 1,000 people or so. They probably, after 3.5, 4 hours of broadcasting, to then have something go down and they miss the last few holes, I can understand people are like, all right, well, maybe it's time I got to go anyways. My in-laws came an hour ago and I was already spending too much time.
It did happen at like the top of the hour. It was like it was just about 6 o'clock, I think, my time, and so that might be a partial reason as well. 6 o'clock, we got people on the West Coast getting out of work on a Friday, so I mean. The 800 or so viewers that didn't come back could have been for multiple reasons, but I never like to see it happen, and thankfully it came back. I would have been really disappointed if we would have lost it completely.
Yeah, and just so everyone knows, in hopefully the case that never does happen, again, sorry, I'm trying to do a couple things here to let everyone know we're live, but in case something like that ever did happen, our contingency plan was already in place in that we were obviously recording
Yep.
every single shot thereafter. So in the bizarre fashion, if that were to happen again, know that we're going to record all the shots and we would, as quickly as possible, assemble them together and get them posted. But clearly not ideal that we'd have to do that. We want to
Sure.
keep the live going. So
Yeah, we went like 50 holes without a problem, and then suddenly hole 51 or whatever it was like, so.
Yeah, and even prior to that, I was talking to a few people around here about it, and I was thinking we've gone months, if not an entire year, without this problem ever happening.
Yeah.
And so for it to happen today the way it did, of course, sometimes there's just an unforeseen thing that can happen. And it was funny because I did see someone say, well, let me handle your IT. This would never happen.
Yeah.
This is one of those cases where, sometimes just things happen. Disc golf happens, whatever. Things happen. Sometimes whether you like it or not, you take a bogey. And maybe that's the best way we could describe it today.
Or back-to-back bogeys, as somebody did today.
Awkward.
Weird.
So let's go right there. We'll actually talk a little bit of golf, before I start yapping with all of our top pros. But during the round today, things seem to be moving along just fine for Mr. Macbeth and
Mr. McRed Pants.
Yep. The card was jiving pretty well, and by the time he had gotten to 12, the 2 or 3 feet OB, and then on 13, the OB that he didn't get up and down from either. Pretty crazy.
Yeah, I mean, he was cruising right along, honestly. It looked like he was, he'd never pulled away. It's not like he had already won it or was doing a victory lap, but he was on cruise control as far as his play. And then, and then he got stuck up on the gunite. He hit the ground and quickly rolled back into the gunite and stopped. And then missing the putt, which was uncharacteristic of him because that's no more than a 30-footer.
Yep, that was circle's edge at most.
Yeah, and then then taking a bogey on the next hole was when he hit the tree and kind of trickled out of bounds is what he basically did. So he missed. He's probably out somewhere putting right now from 30 feet because he did miss a few of those. He missed like 3 of them right at circle's edge, I think.
Yeah, it was interesting to see, and what it really does is it just tightens everything up for tomorrow. I mean, you're talking about Nate Sexton in the lead after 54 holes. You're talking about Johnny McRae, Paul Macbeth right behind him. There's no shortage of drama. And we always know that the Memorial seems to somehow magically be blessed with a crazy amount of drama. And this year is apparently not going to be any different, because what's not going to happen tomorrow is someone's going to start out hot and get, we'll just say, 6 for 6. That's going to mean nothing, because nobody else is going to start out 0 for 6.
Yeah.
There's going to be plenty of birdies to be had out there, and at no point will there be any level of comfort, even knowing all the way down to 18. There's water and crazy stuff could happen there. There could easily be a 2-stroke swing on hole 18. So unless you're sitting on 3 strokes or so going into the final hole, I don't know. There's the potential for anything. And even that, Nico LaCastro a few years ago, aces against Paul Ulibarri on the final hole on hole 18. He aces during
out at Fountain.
Yeah, during an event out there, and takes it into overtime that way. So, how does Paige Pierce say it? Anything can happen in 2016?
Anything can happen in 2016.
Yeah, so anyway, some golf out there. It was great to watch. It was incredibly hot. By the time we rolled past hole 12 and 13, it finally started to cool off, but
yeah,
it's been a scorcher out there. And some people say, yeah, you're whining about Arizona weather, but I'm telling you, it was legitimately hot.
Yeah, EMAC even opened the show saying that it was a little brutal. It was beating down on people. So that's a long day, especially when you're carrying. It's not necessarily you, but even our guys carrying all the equipment. And I mean, it's hot for you as well, but I feel more sorry for the guys having to carry the cameras and all your personal assistants that you have, Terry, that you send on.
Yeah. Well, I do have to give a perfectly legitimate shout out to Miles Parkhill of Paragon. Not only is a sponsor of the show and a supporter of all the things that we do, but he has single-handedly made things so much easier as he's been walking around with a cooler, making sure that we're hydrated, making sure that we've got a snack every once in a while. Having a guy that's so selfless and able to do things like that. Today I had him working the SmashBoxxTV Instagram feed, and we're going to continue to build on that. So just know that it's out there. If you go out and look for it, just SmashBoxxTV on Instagram. And Miles put up a number of really good posts out there as well, so people can follow along. And we're going to continue to build that additional avenue of social media.
Yeah, someone on the board goes, Terry, were you impressed with Philo making 30 to 40 footers repeatedly?
No, because that's what I expect of him. We had him on the show last night. Clearly, he's a phenomenal player. He's been around for a long time. Last night, he mentioned that he feels like maybe after 10 years, he's hitting his stride right now. And, he like he said last night, he expressed a little frustration here and there. However, he got it together and he kept it together because we all know when everybody's birdieing and you fall off that pace a little bit, it's easy to get discouraged and maybe even just give it all away. But not Philo. He stuck it out and hung in there.
Yeah, he did. It was kind of funny watching him hit all these long putts, and then it was the one shorty that he missed. He missed like a 20-footer or something silly.
Yeah, and that was exactly what he said. On the putt on hole 13, after he airballed the short one on 12.
Yeah.
On 13, I recall him throwing his hands up saying, "Oh, come on, what are you doing? Like, how is that? Just doesn't make sense. You're making from 35, but you're missing from 18."
I mean,
yeah, logic would tell you that doesn't make a lot of sense.
And maybe not for them, but you and I could maybe relate a little bit. The ones that you're supposed to hit, those 20-footers, sometimes those are the scariest ones because you think, I can't miss this. I have to hit it. The 40-footers that we put in, are more bonuses. Not so much for them because they have to get them if they want to win or compete. But those 40-footers, there's less expectation on you. So.
Yeah, well, they are level.
Oh, Terry's breaking up a little bit here, so we're gonna, probably I'll pick up the show a little bit. So in other Memorial news, so Philo is tied for second right now with Johnny McRae and Paul McBeth. Leading is Nate Sexton, who had a great round, shot a 48, just like the other three guys. McBeth was a little off the pace at 50. That's a 1069 rated round. In fifth place on the second card is Nico, Carl Nybo. So I'm really excited that hopefully we're going to get a chance to see some of him tomorrow. There should be less backups, but we'll see. Anthony Barella, who was on a tear through the middle of that course. I think he had 7 or 8 in a row. And then as well, the Simon Lizotte, who just crushes in general. So that's interesting. Terry, are you back with us, or are you still?
Yeah, I'm here, and you're chopping in on me. You can cut your video to me.
I just did.
I don't need it to you.
Yep, I just did. I cut my video to you. So.
Okay, that seems to be a little bit better right now, and it looks much better. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, you had mentioned when I was out there on the course, I was trying to pay attention to various things, but I had heard that Barella had started out very hot. Now, did he run into trouble from what you could see on the live scoring, or did he just kind of cool off?
I think he just kind of cooled off is really what it came down to. I'm looking at the hole-by-hole scoring right now, and Barella, from 5 through 10, that was 6 in a row, and then he took a bogey on 11, which 11 is the one that goes straight out, correct?
No,
11 comes back.
In my ear today, but yeah, 10 goes all the way out to the corner.
11 comes back.
And then 11's the first one coming back. Both par 4s at nearly 700 feet. But
okay, that
11's
makes
the way back.
That makes more sense because I watched him tee on 10 while you were up on the top, and he crushed it. I mean, he crushed that drive. A big Anheuser over the tree. when you watched a lot of other pros like Doss and I believe it was Zach Melton. They just drilled that tree right in front of him. Whereas AB puts up a magnificent, big, flexing Anheuser and probably had a drop-in 3. You know? So,
yeah, from some cheers in the oohs and ahs we heard. It sounded like it, you know.
Well, and
sounds like a pretty solid birdie there.
And the real solid birdie that he had, if you look on the live scoring, is hole 9. He, as far as I can tell, he's the only player in live scoring that two'd it, and he laid out again a giant crushing hyzer this time. I believe he got over everything. He was 25 to 30 feet to the right and just drilled it solid. You know, we saw some guys try to take the Anheuser over the water. Some of them, like Nico, who crushed one but went deep OB, so which you don't see very often.
No, and it was a screamer right out of his hands and off the tee, which I know you didn't necessarily see, but off the tee he made a remark to himself out of frustration because he had known that you know whether it was the angle, the release, or the disc, one of the two, he knew that the combination wasn't right. And so he was frustrated with his effort there.
Yeah, Chris Cobb is saying that AB let a couple bad drives get to him. I don't know. I mean, that if he was there, I trust him. But looking at his score, it didn't look like it hurt him too bad. He took two bogey 5s, but yeah, he still finished off relatively solid. He didn't get 16 or 17. 17's almost a must get. But he got 18
on this course, so to speak.
Yeah, it's one of the few gimmies on this course. It's kind of like 1, where you feel like you have to get it if you're up there. So.
Well, what I'll say about hole 1 is the triple mandatory to force the shot up the middle has undoubtedly messed with some people. Not necessarily that I think the mando is in their head, but score-wise, I would love to see the scoring spread from, say, last year and the 2 and 3 years before this as to what people were doing in terms of the scores as opposed to this year, because I saw very few birdies overall when, you know, I was hanging out there. It's an easy spot to spectate, and there weren't nearly as many birdies on the hole as you're used to seeing, because a lot of players like to go with a forehand out and around, or sometimes a big lazy Anheuser off the tee, and you're forced to go up the middle. And again, it's a perfectly wide gap, and it's still a great shot. It always has been, but a lot of players are used to going out and around.
Sure.
With his shots. You know, I've seen Nico. Was it Nico or Climo? I'm sorry, I think it was Climo. Yes, it was. It was Ken Climo a few years ago. Busted out a left-handed drive off that tee.
Oh, okay. I think I recall that.
It was one of the two, but. I mean, that says something that you're comfortable enough to throw a left-handed drive there when you don't normally do that. So.
I always just threw I had a really nice beat-up buzz that I always flexed out around the edge, and
you found OB somehow in that hole. It was weird.
No, no. I think I've birdied it more than I haven't the couple times I've played there.
Okay.
It's it's all the other holes that kill me.
It's the other.
The other 17.
Yeah, the other 17 or the other 35 holes in the tournament back then that threw you off, right?
So the only other thing I want to talk about with the men's division right now is there was a lot of chatter on the board about Philo and his speed of play.
Yes, I fell asleep during that conversation. No. Yes.
Well, I'll say it was kind of nice on my part, because I'd wait for him to tee, and then I'd play a commercial, come back, and he'd be set. Or actually, what I did do is when he came up to tee, I knew I could take a break and look at the chat board. So usually when he was up, I could chat, because he seemed to go up there almost every time with 2 discs or with 1 disc, not sure. Walk back to his bag, get a disc, then go kick some dirt and rub it. He was meticulous, let's put it that way. And it was fortunate that he was the lead card, because I think that could have slowed down anyone behind him.
And for those who don't know this already, that's a normal day on the course with Philo. And, you know, he was in here yesterday, and we didn't really talk too much about strategies or details of that nature. But that is a typical round of golf with Philo in the sense that he's very meticulous, he's very methodical. He's got his routine, and unfortunately, as people will tell you out there, unfortunately, his routine does violate rules. I mean, I'll be blunt.
Yep.
I don't know, it's not keeping it real. It's true. His routine from start to finish violates PDGA rules, stating that you have to throw within 30 seconds when it's your turn.
Correct. And nobody's going to call him on it, and well, I'm not saying that nobody will in the future, but nobody called him on it today. I don't think the pros really cared because of the situation and the backups that they were having anyway. It wasn't a real flowing round, we'll say that.
Correct, and a lot of people have said that too. You know, what are they going to do? Hurry up just so they can get up to the next hole and wait. With that being said, it's still unfortunately a rules violation.
Oh, correct. I'm not doubting that.
And I think that became part of the argument that was going on out on the board was, you know, it doesn't matter what the flow of play is. It is just the fact that he's still violating a rule.
Yeah.
And when you get right down to it, I agree with that.
Yeah, no, I think...
And clearly it's not in my position as simply a media man right now to do any kind of adjustment or fixing there, but that's a dynamic. That is something you see in the group. That's something you're seeing here at a national tour event, and what could or should or will or won't be done about it, that's, I guess, to be seen. But and I'll follow your point up with one other quick point about it, is that a lot of people, and again, I don't consider this an excuse, a lot of people know that Philo is a slower player. And I think they've probably were mentally prepared for that that's his style. You know, you think of other players who take time, like a Jeff Bennett, he takes 28 seconds every throw. And once you know that, or you've played with him, or you've mentally prepared yourself for that, that's how you can handle it.
Sure. And
you're over seconds,
Nico,
you're still breaking the rule, but
Nico can be the same way with his putting, and but you're right. And another pro may not, especially where that card was going. It was flowing along. I mean, as far as the card people were, they were all playing relatively well most of the time. So, do you really want to cause any sort of friction in your group? Do you want to? I mean, you should call him hands down, but do you want to really kind of ruin that feeling in the group and maybe disturb somebody else? It's a bad argument, but I could see it that way.
Well, and it's unfortunate because we do have to call our own rules on our own players, which I'm totally fine with, and it's nobody ever wants to do it, and that's what makes things awkward or difficult or uncomfortable. So I guess it is what it is, and I'm going to leave it up for the group and for everyone else to worry about it, because at the moment it's not my problem. So, exactly. But what is our problem is the continued development of none other than the Saki bomb. And I think he's going to step on inside our Smash Box and join us here.
Well,
throw it on there, buddy.
Thankfully, on hole 18, everybody got to see Saki Bomb's trash bomb.
Oh, right.
I got a chance to play it. I was a little disappointed I couldn't play the Drew Gibson clip where he kept stumbling, because that was right when we had our issues. But I wanted to make sure to get the trash bomb in there, so everybody got to see that. Well,
so without further ado, obviously welcoming to the podcast here tonight, we're joined by none other than Ricky Wysocki. And Ricky, we're going to start with a subject Johnny V and I were just talking about on the podcast. On the leader card today, we saw all of these players, and one of which was Philo. And maybe you can attest to this. Philo plays methodical, and some may even say slow. How do you feel about that? Whether he's at 35 seconds or 40 seconds or 29 seconds or 55 seconds. How do you feel about that in any group? And we're not just picking on Philo. I guess I'm talking about the possible infraction.
Yeah, well, him being one of the top players, Philo, we know what you're getting into when you get around with him. So it's not like you expect him to go up there and throw like some people do.
Sure.
He's got his routine. You know what to expect. So with that being said, you know that you're not gonna get a speedy round every time that you just know how much time he's gonna take. So if it was some random player that you maybe haven't played with before, it could get annoying. But for him, it's just we all play with him so much. that it's we're used to it. So it's obviously it's a little it gets to you a little bit when it comes late in the round and he's still but that's his routine. You can't knock. You gotta respect his routine just like he respects all of our routines. So as long as he abides by the rules, that none of us can really say much besides we know what we're getting into.
So I think that's one of the challenges. I think we'll all agree. If you take 29 and a half seconds, you're good. But what happens when you take 39, 49, 59 seconds for a tee shot? And again, we're not picking on Philo, but people were really worked up on the board today. They're like, what is going on? I timed it. This guy's taken 48 seconds to throw a shot. You're right. You can expect it, but no one wants to call it ever.
Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of like it's tough. It's it's one of those. It's same deal with like a foot fault kind of thing. It's kind of like it's a rule, but it's basically just like who's gonna be the first one to be that guy. And it's a rule's a rule, so it's not really like you're being that guy, but in everyone else's head you are. And if you were Philo getting called out on it, obviously you wouldn't like it and you'd have to change. But I mean, until someone calls them out on it, you can't expect them to change. So once he gets a warning, then I'm sure it'd speed up. I don't know if he got a warning today. I wasn't in the group, but
yeah.
But like I said, once you get a warning, then that's when you really have to speed up and abide by the rules even more so than he did before. And until then, you can't really expect anything else.
No, and what's kind of funny is the three guys on the group: Sexton, Macbeth, and Orem.
Yeah.
Nobody said anything, and I didn't think they would, because, like you said, they're used to playing with him. It's the people that are watching on the board that are just, everybody's a keyboard warrior.
Yeah, exactly.
But they have a legitimate concern if his time is to throw and he was taking too long, and they're able to very easily see how many seconds that was.
Right. I don't know the rule on that. If the group member has to call it, or if official can call it, I'm not exactly sure about that.
I think a group member or any official.
Oh wow. Okay.
So if someone was walking along that was an official and was part of the event and so on, they could certainly say it as well. Now, some of the people are saying on the other end of that, what's he going to do? Hurry up so he could just wait on the second card at the next hole?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So maybe that was part of it. But now, here's what I think will be interesting is on our leader card tomorrow, we'll have one of the slower players in disc golf play with Philo, but then one of the fastest players in Johnny McRae. Are they going to be out of sync with one another?
I don't know. I mean, yeah, like you said, Johnny. I played with Johnny today, and he's so you gotta watch out sometimes, because sometimes when people walk up to the tee pad, you expect like a 10, 20, 30-second routine. Johnny, he's ready to go, and if you better not be moving or doing any rustling around, because as soon as he steps up to the box, he throws. As opposed, like I said, opposed to most people like Philo, who go up with 2-3 discs, line one disc up, set it down, line up another one, and Johnny is the total opposite. He knows what he's doing. He throws it, walks up there, and does his run up and throws. So. And like you said, just the polar opposite of Philo. So it'll be interesting to see what the dynamics between those two players will be.
So championship Saturday, the final day tomorrow. How are you feeling right now? Where are you sitting score-wise, and how are you feeling?
Yeah, I mean, I had a pretty disappointing round today. I salvaged it. So I didn't really get off to a great start. I in the middle of the round, the back holes, a few par fours in a row. I got a few threes in a row on the par fours, which is good. Coming back across the street at Vista, I think it's 12, 13.
Yep.
Are the two long par fours. So I got those, and then I stumbled coming in the stretch. I had some bad breaks. I think I hit a light post on one of the par fours coming in, and got a bad bounce out of bounds, and then so I really just didn't have it coming down the stretch, and I think I double bogeyed 16. So I think that would have put me at a 29 under. If I just par 16, but obviously everything's hindsight's 2020.
Yeah, it is, and I gotta ask, what happened on 16? That's the uphill, 379 or so, slightly uphill. Did you find yourself OB on the left, or?
Well, I was actually safe on the drive, which is crazy to think.
I think I might know where this is going then.
Yeah, exactly. If you're safe on the drive, you can almost guarantee that putt went awry, which is usually what happens on that hole.
Did you get the Nico where you hit the basket and came all the way back down?
I sure did, yep. And then I decided just to putt for my last lie to get revenge, and just the fact that I'm closer, because I rolled so far out of bounds that I was like, I just, chose my last spot, which is you're able to do that, instead of going to play out of bounds, 60 feet, I might as well putt from the same amount of strokes from 20, 30 feet, So that's what I did. I saved double bogey from like 30 feet on that hole. And then I ended birdie. But yeah, that 16, that double bogey, it's so close at the top, and that really hurts. I think that those 2 strokes are going to be really tough to overcome. Even if I have a great round tomorrow, those 2 strokes I think are really, really is going to set me apart. But I mean, I'm going to do my best to make a jump, and I really am feeling still confident.
So you're sitting at what right now?
27 under par. Yeah, I'm 27 under par with that double bogey on 16. But like I said, I'm still, still confident. First tournament of the year. I didn't get off to as good a start as I wanted to, but I'm not terrible. I'm not in the worst position ever.
No.
So.
I mean, leader's sitting at Sexton's at 33.
Yep, 33.
I mean, that's 6 strokes, which you're right is tough to make up at Fountain, but there's been some phenomenal rounds at Fountain, and we know, especially with your righty-lefty, spin combo in forehand, backhand, there's no hole that you can't attack if you really want to.
Exactly. Yep. And that's all I can do is shoot. Play the best score I can. And hopefully I can watch the last few holes with a chance to win.
Yeah, wouldn't it be nice to be sitting in the clubhouse, maybe over at Euro Pizza, the sponsor there, and biting your nails watching the live feed, thinking, well, maybe if someone lets one go in the lake.
Yeah, exactly right.
Well, we keep talking about it. There's been so much drama at the Memorial. I mean, Schusterich playoff. After Macbeth had the great round that he did. Coling and Macbeth playoff last year. It's always tight coming down the stretch here.
Oh yeah, and there's, you don't really get a break, at Fountain Hills especially. There's no hole that you can really let up and be like, oh, okay, I can relax. As soon as you do that, the course will get you. So that's what makes it so hard. You got to have 18 holes of focus and mental preparation, to get around that course. As soon as you mentally don't give it your all, that's when the course will bite you. So. That's that. With that being said, with the, all the variables, all the pressure, all the wind, which is could possibly get pretty windy. You just gotta you gotta be strong mentally, physically, and you gotta be ready to dial in. And if you, like I said, if you give up mentally at all, the course will get you. So that happens sometimes, even with me. It happened today at Vista, and it's even worse at Fountain because there's all kinds of trouble.
There is, and I was just gonna ask, what hole are you? I don't want to say most excited about, but what hole are you most comfortable with when you get out to that course? Is there a hole you're like, yeah, I got this one dialed, or I really like this hole? Is there any hole out there that you really love throwing?
I think it's got to be hole 10. It's after most of the water stretch. The front nine's the most of the water.
You can take
holes.
a sigh of relief.
Exactly, yeah. So it's wide open. There's really not too much out of bounds. You can you have to really shank when to go out of bounds there. But so I think it's just as far as relaxing, I wouldn't say you can relax on the hole, but you can definitely, know that you're not going to lose your disc in the water and be penalized to stroke and all this other stuff. So, it's the, you can get the biggest break, I would say, out of the whole course.
Yes. Well, that makes
from the water.
Yeah. And then you hopefully shouldn't throw in or near it for quite a while.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless you throw it, unless you shank it.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you could do it on like 12 or 13. There's a few
Possibly,
where you
yeah.
could, but you got to throw really bad
Right.
shots there. So earlier in the broadcast, we were working with Disc Golf Pro Tour, and some of the things that they had put together were some pretty candid interviews and clips. And one of the clips that they saw is kind of both you and Schusterich addressing the conversation from the LA Times article. And we're friends, that it's a hot topic. There's a lot of things going on. I know Paul reached out to you shortly after it, immediately after it released. He had said he sent you a message or called you or something. Any additional insight on that?
I mean, yeah, like you said, it's a hot topic, and with the beginning of the new season, I think if anything, it's good drama. It's pump up the sport. It gets people talking, and people excited to see prove them wrong. That's basically what we're trying to. It's not like it's a battle between me and him. Obviously, it's always going to be there. But that, I don't step up on the course and be like, oh, I want to beat Paul. I know that if I play my game, I'm not going to get involved in all the, with the articles and all this other stuff. So if I play my game in the long run, with the new season and everything going on, I really am confident that I'm going to be, back to number one where I have been in the past. So I know deep down that that being said, I know that I can be ranked number one in the world again.
Does it motivate you?
Yeah, I guess if it does. To answer it short, it does motivate me, and not that I obviously I had motivation before the article. It's not like I have. That's the only motivation I had. With obviously Paul is a great player. He set standards. Which is great, and I'm just ready to improve from last year. I had a lot of second place finishes to him, and I'm really just waiting to improve from last year and get a lot more wins this year.
All right. Well, I'm not the LA Times, but here's what I'd like to ask you. If I said to you, just as Paul was asked, who are your closest competitors, and how do you feel about them?
Obviously with me and Paul being, the 1-2 punch, just like any sport, it's tough to be, best buddies or best friends. Obviously he's probably my biggest competitor because, I think most of the tournaments last year, either I finished first, I think I only won, one NT and he got third.
Sure.
But he was, we were both always right there, whether one stroke, I think one or two strokes separated us, I don't know, half a dozen times, I think, and, the NTs and majors. So, obviously we're both right there with the 1-2 punch, and, I wouldn't say we're the best of friends, but I think we're decent enough friends for being a 1-2 punch in any sport,
Yeah.
So, obviously he's my, biggest competitor. This year there's, like as you can see this year at the Memorial, it's very tight at the top. A lot of players playing hot. Philo, I think he's going to have a good year with this Vegas win. I think he could. He's already having a great start to the season. He won Vegas. He's right, almost. I think one off the lead here in Phoenix for the Memorial. So, there's a lot of players that are coming out hot. And it, which is great to see for this sport. I think this sport is just a sign of this sport growing, and to see all these players establishing themselves. But I'm just ready to also keep myself established.
You're like, yeah, that's cute and all, guys.
Yeah,
You can,
right.
Philo told us last
Exactly.
night he's been playing, these 10 years, and he feels like he's hitting his stride a little bit. Everything was clicking for him at Vegas, and now he's here. Things seem to be clicking pretty well for him. But that's great and all. But you're thinking, you're ready.
Right.
You're ready to get at it.
Exactly, and that's how you have to think. If you're any professional athlete, in any sport, you got to think about yourself first. It's not selfish. You just you have to do it in order to play your best and have the most confidence.
Well, you do you.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
There's going to be other competitors. There's going to be other courses that are all going to come and go, but you got to be concerned about you and your game first and foremost.
Exactly.
Somebody gets hot for a month, or 6 months, or whatever it is, or a round. There's nothing you can do to control that. You you can only throw your shots and worry about what happens out there.
It's a great point. Yep.
So I'm unintentionally here. We got to give you a plug. What do you got going on with the Sake Bomb brand, and what's going on out there?
Well, I just basically came up with a stamp. Actually, Jeremy Colling designed my stamp.
Okay.
And so I wanted to do something with it. So I got it. I got some hats. You can check out sakebomb.com for the new my new releases. I got some discs, obviously, my new Signature Series compass, hat, shirt. I got some cinch bags with the Sake Bomb logo on it. So I got some new products on the website. So if you guys want to go check it out and check out my new off-season endeavors, which was the Sake Bomb logo in the new products. So I've been working on that in the off-season, which is it's definitely going to make free my mind for the new season, because it's already running itself. I have someone helping me with the website, so I don't really have to worry about it too much.
Yep.
It's kind of running itself, so I'm really excited about that.
And now we may be collaborating on some stuff later. That might be a separate podcast for another day. But right now, let's backtrack just a moment. You were recently in Puerto Rico working on some stuff. What kind of came of that?
Yeah, I went with actually a Charlotte Disc Golf Club member, George Alvarez. He wanted me to go to kind of be the promoter. He was the businessman, and I was the kind of promoter and face of disc golf to represent it to Puerto Rico. And so basically, we went to a bunch of golf courses, ball golf courses, and we represented the idea and showed them, basically telling them about, the history of disc golf. We got to, explain that first, because they don't know anything about disc golf. So we got to explain disc golf, and then basically just represent to them that it's a great package for both parties. Obviously, we're getting disc golf into Puerto Rico on your golf courses, because that's where most of the interest was in golf courses. And representing the idea and saying, maybe, you can get a disc golf course for like 40, 50, $60,000 as opposed to millions for a ball golf course. And the maintenance you do on a golf course is plenty for a disc golf course. So,
Yes.
it's the maintenance fees are minimal as opposed to golf, so they already have a great thing going with golf. Why not, if we design the course correctly, we can, intertwine disc golf and ball golf. And, that way they can make double the income. Not double because greens fees aren't as much for disc golf, but it's additional income for the golf course. And you're establishing, if we were to do that, my buddy actually sent proposals to like 5 or 6 golf clubs we met with there in Puerto Rico. So he's been working on it. I haven't actually talked to him for a few weeks, so I'm interested actually to see how it's going. But I'm actually planning on making another trip in March to start designing if one of them pull the trigger or any of them pull the trigger.
Sure. Sake bomb course design. I don't know. Is that scary? Something tells me I wouldn't want to be throwing all those long holes you're going to create.
Yeah, it's kind of new to me, but I've played enough courses and kind of have enough knowledge to where I think I could incorporate that into my sake bomb company.
All right. Well, so this year you're going to be obviously out on tour. We've seen the wrap on the new car and all that stuff. You're rolling with anyone? You think you're going to be kind of solo, or what are your plans?
Yeah, well, for me, I'm right now I'm by myself, and obviously I'll pick up buddies at certain tournaments and play, travel with them for a few weeks at a time. But so it just depends on where I'm at in the country. If I'm in Texas, I'll sometimes pick up my buddy Bradley Williams from Texas, local pro. A lot of people know him around there. So I'll pick up him in Texas, and if I go to certain states, certain regions of the country, I'll, have buddies that want to play tournaments. So I'll just pick them up as opposed to having someone with me all the time.
Sure.
If I want to travel with someone for a few tournaments, I'll have them in the car, travel around, drop them off, and then go to my next events. So, I'll travel with like 4 or 5 different people for like a month or 2 at a time throughout the year. It's not like I'm traveling with the same person the whole time, which I don't mind doing, but that's just how I found my, keeps it, interesting for me. I'm always traveling with someone new, and so I just think that's I find that's my favorite way to do it.
Yeah, and it makes perfect sense. Sometimes what I see is a little bit daunting is you'll see these groups of people get together and they're like, yes, here's our plan, here's the whole tour, here's what's going on. And then you put 3 or 4 people in a car for a few weeks or a month, and it's like, well, maybe this won't work out. And then it's, all these plans got to shift. So I love the logic of thinking, well, okay, it'll be come and go, and pick up when I can.
Yeah,
that makes more sense.
It does, and I really just enjoy the fact that I can also travel with new people, all my different buddies. I see them for, I only get to see them usually for a few weeks or a month while they're in my, while we're traveling together. So I always look forward to it. So it's it's a good time, and like I said, I get to keep it new, and we don't really get too tired of each other, so which is good.
Yeah, that makes sense. Now we're gonna find you going overseas for a few events.
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to be going to Finland and Sweden again this year. I'm not going to the World Tour in Czech Republic.
Yep. Okay.
That would be 3 trips to Europe, and I just think it's not really feasible for me. I could do it. I just feel like I would rather play the Kansas City NT here in the States and still make obviously I'm still making the 2 trips to Europe, so it's not like I'm not going.
Sure.
I'm still traveling internationally. I just figured that that I just like the idea of the planning with Kansas City better.
Okay. No, it makes perfect sense. Yeah. And I think we're going to see a lot of players are going to opt, especially because Kansas City is generally such a good event on great courses. Mm-hmm. So it really makes that decision that much tougher. So I wouldn't be a SmashBoxxTV podcast without Dana and his representation. So on his behalf, he was calling you out the other day saying you're stepping up your social media game. We love it.
Yeah, it's definitely weird to me. I mean, I finally got a smartphone.
Okay.
I haven't had the smartphone. I got one for Christmas, actually, from my parents. And, wow, it's weird, but it's definitely worth it. I used to have to take a picture with my iPad and then wait till I got home to get Wi-Fi. So it was definitely a pain to do it. But now I'm actually have access to Wi-Fi and a phone. And I don't have to carry around my big iPad and be a tourist everywhere I go. I can be low key about it. So with that being said, I'm able to make more posts and update all my fans and followers, which is great. I'm really excited for that.
It is, and I'm in all seriousness, I love seeing it. You, as a guy who wasn't doing a lot of it for a logical reason, for a flip phone reason. But for a guy who wasn't doing it, and then just the way you kind of just turn it on, and people love it. And it was said last night on the show. And what we're so blessed and so fortunate with in disc golf is you are the second ranked, the second best player in the world, but yet you're so easily accessible. Well, at least to some people. No, but you are. You know, that's what's great about our whole sport is, you know, I'm sure you get bombarded with messages and phone calls and all these other things, but for the most part, all of our pros are accessible.
Yeah, it's great.
In some way, and that's huge.
Yeah, you know, and everyone associates with someone different, whoever, you know, and it's great to see that, you know, everyone's got their own little followers, and, you know, like you said, it's, you know, it's pretty accessible. You can walk up to, you know, it's not like the PGA yet to where we, you know, we got too many people, but
and bodyguards and entourages.
Exactly. Right. So, you know, it's good for everyone. It's good for us. We get to, you know, mingle with, you know, certain people that we, you know, might not be able to, you know, and I think that, you know, the sport may get to the point where, you know, you'll have to, you know, kind of, you know, filter the followers and spectators at tournaments. But for now, you know, we're able to kind of, you know, talk to whoever we want whenever we want, you know, and I think that, you know, that's great and everything. But, you know, I think in the future, you know, if we get the sport's growing at its pace it is now, you know, that we're not going to be able, I don't think, you know, do that. Which I'm not saying it's a good or bad thing. I'm just saying that might be the way it turns.
Well, and I think you got a big fan, Daniel Davis. Does that ring a bell?
Yes, sir.
He says that he could crush you, I think is what.
Oh, Danny D. Oh, he thinks he can crush me. I don't know about that. He's doinking those 10-foot putts. I don't think it's going to cut it.
But him and others, and I've known this about you as well. You've been one of the most successful disc golfers anywhere on the tour for the last 3 to 5 years. You win some pretty good purses, but you are incredibly conscientious of how you spend your money, and you're not, you know, we use the term, you know, hashtag disc golf rich.
Right.
But you are still very sensible in what you're doing, and I can certainly appreciate that as well. Is that something you learned from your parents? And
yeah, you know, I've always came from a big family, you know, so we always kind of had to, you know, work with what we got, you know. We're not always, you know, spoiled and all that other stuff. So, you know, that's, you know, I've carried that on to, you know, my adulthood now, to where I'm not going crazy, like you said, not disc golf rich, but making everyone seem like, you know, I got all this money and all this stuff. You know, obviously, you know, I have enough to travel and live and tour, which is great. You know, I'm glad that I, you know, put myself in that position, but I'm not going to, you know, go around spending money that, you know, and thinking that I have, you know, so everyone thinks I have money. It's, you know, I'm not knocking him for doing that. It's just not how, you know, it's not how I, you know, was raised, and that's not how I, you know, would do it, you know.
Put more money in that pocket.
Exactly, right.
Keep it in your pocket.
Exactly.
So I had a really special moment with Cam Todd last night. We talked about how I was one of the 15 people that were there when he got his World Championships trophy at like 1 in the morning. It was a little slow that day. But in 2001, he was awarded the World Championships title in the middle of the night. It kind of dragged on. I think I've been present. Have I been present for your 2 or 3 or 4 biggest wins ever? Does that sound about right?
Yeah, my first one definitely at the PDGA Major in Augusta. That was definitely it. In Japan, I don't know if we were in Japan.
I wasn't at Japan,
okay.
but
so,
yeah, and your amateur world championships.
Yeah, in Ohio.
In Ohio, I was there as well, and following around and doing some work with the PDGA. And then, you know, how much was that? Months later, you were winning.
Yeah, I think that I won the Am Worlds
in July, probably.
Yeah, and then the Hamburg. I think that year I think I either got first or second to Barry Schultz. Can't remember right now off the top of my head, but you know, I had a good performance at the A tier in Columbus, which is local for me at the time in Ohio. So, you know, that was, you know, really kicked off my pro career, and you know, I've evolved ever since. You know, through sponsors and, you know, Saki Bomb, social media now. So, you know, I'm glad.
Damn, it's the Saki Empire.
Right. Yeah.
That's almost scary, but it's great to see. Ricky, you got anything else you want to share? Anything with friends or family or people that might be out there taking it all in?
No, not really. I just want to thank my sponsor Latitude, and I want to tell everyone to check out SakiBomb.com. Just recently developed a website. Check it out, and you can see all my new products. And follow me for updates, and stay tuned on my latest tour endeavors.
All right. Well, some people claim that I'm one of the busiest guys in disc golf. I think you're coming after that. Websites, course design, jet setting all around the country and other countries, and then playing top-level golf. You trying to do my job? You're not going to take over my job too, are you?
Right. No, I don't think I want to. I think you got me. You're doing plenty for the sport, and we all appreciate it, and you know, we all recognize it. So, you know, I know you do a great job, and I'm glad to be a part of the Smashbox community and family.
All right, pal. All right, we're gonna let you go.
Thank you, sir.
You got a big day tomorrow. We're
All
looking
right.
forward to seeing you.
Yes,
And maybe we'll check in if at any point you want to chit chat with us during the round or on the course tomorrow. Feel free. And if you're in the zone, then don't talk to us.
All
but maybe we'll see you make that run to hunt down some of those leader card players.
Sounds great.
All right. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Take care. Have a
All
good
right.
night.
Thank you, buddy.
All right. As we said, a little sakebomb.com action here. Ricky able to step in and give us some pretty good insight. Did I miss any questions you were thinking there, Johnny?
No, you didn't. I'm course design. That
I know. I'm like, oh no, they're gonna be all like 600-foot par.
no, I'm worried that they're all going to be like righty forehand shots.
Yeah.
Like everything goes up about 350 feet and then skips hard left or hard right, and I'm going to be really out of luck.
Yeah. Well, I need to get disc golf rich. I'm getting razzed here on the board saying that I spend more money on my hair products. Excuse me. It's the sun. It's all been the sun out here. I don't know. Anyway, everybody should be very proud. This is the most sunscreen I have ever put on in a straight 4 or 5 day period ever.
You're looking good for it, Tare.
I'm not very good at doing it, but I've forced myself every single day this entire week to make sure that I've been getting plenty of sunscreen on. Speaking of sunscreen, what's the temperature like in Wisconsin?
Wow, you just like to ask every single day, don't you? I tell you,
Genuinely curious.
currently right now, 30 in snow showers. Tomorrow's going to be about 40. Then we're jumping up to almost 50, and then 55, 60. We got a couple days of good weather coming up. It's not Arizona weather.
It better be nice by the time I get home on Sunday night.
Yeah, it should be. You're going to get a nice Monday and Tuesday, and then it's going to tail off again.
All right. Well, so there's a little chatter I see on the board talking about
your Facebook being open and going bing, bing.
No, that should be a good idea too. But I could maybe I could mute that. I don't know. Sorry, people are. Yeah. With the chatter I saw was Ricky and his comfortability, which is a challenging word to say for me. I'm honored. I feel very fortunate that with the early part of his career, going all the way back to him winning AM Worlds, and then going and winning under pressure at the PDGA Major, and then constantly seeing him at places like the Vibram Open year after year, and doing these onslaught of interviews. I think he's really transitioned into being much more comfortable.
He is. He's really getting there.
And some people are pros and just natural at it, I think, right out of the gate. And some people have to work themselves into it. And I think every single time we get him on camera, he gets better and better and more comfortable. And I think, to me, I've kind of watched him grow up in that sense, although he was always taller. But I've always just watched him, grow and improve with everything he's doing. And it's just been a real pleasure. So I know that EMAC was hanging out. I'd like to catch up with him a little bit. Obviously, him and Cool Daddy Slick Breeze opened the show for us. I don't know, did that genuinely throw anyone off?
I don't think it genuinely threw anyone off. A lot of people were cheering, thinking, good trick, whatever. It was a fun little bit that we quickly set up at the very last minute there.
Yeah. So, Disc Golf Answer Man, our friends over there, have been doing their amazing podcast for quite some time. I hear it's amazing. I don't know. That's what other people say. I don't. But no, I hear that it is really good, and we're glad to. We're going to check in with Eric. I think he's going to be around in a minute.
While we wait for Eric, should we talk about the women?
Let's do it. I would love to. We caught up with Paige during the day.
Yeah.
And she had a few updates for us, but I don't know all the details.
Yeah, she wasn't completely positive, other than her and Kat, really.
Okay.
So going into today's round, Paige had Kat by a single stroke. And leaving the round, Kat has Paige by a stroke. So Paige Pierce shot a 61, which is a 955 rated round, and which is a little bit below her rating, and Kat shot 59, which was a 973 out at Vista for a 973, which is a little bit above her rating. Now, both women are like 962 or 964 rated, so they're right, neck and neck. And then after that, it's a significant drop off. It goes, like 10 strokes difference between Paige and Jen Allen, who's next, who shot a +4 that round, followed by finishing off the lead group will be Sarah Hokum at a 6 over. So
just to clarify, I'm sorry, you said Kat's got Paige by 1 and Paige has Jen Allen by 10?
Yeah, by 10.
You just said okay.
Yep.
Just to make sure I heard that correctly.
And then
Yeah,
Sarah Hokum, Jen has Sarah Hokum by 2 strokes.
Okay, so this is genuinely a race for first and a race for third.
Yes.
Respect, pretty much.
Yeah, third place isn't locked up, especially out at Fountain. Not when you have Jen, Sarah, and Val all within 4 strokes of each other, and Melody's kind of hanging out there at, she's 6 strokes down. But as we know at Fountain, anything can happen. Someone gets on a hot streak. We've seen some crazy things in the women's field finish up at Fountain Hills. I remember a couple of years ago when I think it was when one of Paige's wins when Val kind of just muffed an approach on 18. Just really kind of put it right into the ground a little bit in front of her and set Paige up for the win.
Yeah, I definitely recall being here for that, and that kind of, not that she would ever try and throw a less than stellar shot, but Val is one of those players who doesn't really think about the scoreboard or the leaderboard, and she's not really paying attention to that. She keeps in her own zone, and that definitely factored in at some point as they were coming down the stretch. Now, just to let everyone know, we're again set up at Duke's, just like we were last night. They're a sponsor of the tournament, and it's kind of a really popular headquarters for people to hang out. We're in the back room where we did all of our live podcasts from last year. But tonight, as I was coming in here to set things up and get things in position again, this place was loaded with, it had to be 50 to 75 Latitude 64 players. And I saw Dave Felberg, they were in fact having some form of a team gathering or dinner of sorts. So this place was just littered with Latitude everywhere. And so it was really cool to see, the team camaraderie and the togetherness and everything else all taking place. And now that they've kind of filtered out, I'm looking out beyond that where thankfully no one's paying attention to me, but out beyond that, there's 4 foosball tables. I'm under I think I've been informed that every Friday night there's some kind of foosball tournament.
Oh wow!
So that's what's going on, and they're quite in check. So which is great that I can be in here and doing this as well. So, all right, enough of the foosball talk. We're gonna get back to it.
Let's talk Masters now that Emac's here.
Oh,
hey-o! That beard's making you look old.
I'd say we're all within a few weeks of here.
You.
Same as you.
Okay. We don't need to let them know.
No, okay. Pretty sure it was the same as you. I think you, myself, and Johnny V actually all graduated the same year in high school.
Oh, yeah. Cool.
Back in those days.
So we got a reunion coming up.
Yes, there is. And
5-year.
Yes. And Johnny V and I cannot make it. We saw a post on Facebook about it. Can you imagine why?
I will be at the Beaver State Fling because of it.
We will be at, Johnny will probably be at home, but I will be at the Minnesota Majestic.
Ah, okay.
So it kind of sucks. I'd love to go to one of these, but weekend in the summer,
it's not happening.
Chances are pretty low.
Yes, it's not happening. Not at all.
How many weddings have you been? Do you typically miss? I know that you got to go to some, but do you typically miss them?
I'll miss them.
You miss them.
I'll miss a wedding. Unless I'm in the wedding.
Yep.
Or if it's my wedding.
Yep. Wait, are you breaking news here?
No.
Yes.
What?
Okay, you heard it right here on
Listen
Smash.
to this guy.
We're just always looking for that edge. That edge on the podcast.
That is true.
We got to break news.
We will break news one day.
You guys might. That'll be cute. So, some news that was talked about. You're here, so I can bring you in on it. People second guessed me yesterday, believe it or not, on the broadcast as to if I really claimed that Paige Pierce threw a judge.
What's that?
Yeah.
Now?
Yeah.
You need me to go now?
And I don't know if it was a signature EMAC judge. That's the only reason why I asked.
No.
Do you know?
No, I know nothing.
You know nothing?
I know nothing.
You're just here so you don't get fined?
Yes. That would work.
Okay. Well, I had heard she did. And then later, she tells me she's throwing a Saint and she's throwing a Convict. So
Great discs.
I don't know if you knew of any of this, but I'm letting you know now.
I had no idea.
So that's
Those
pretty
are
crazy.
Those are some good discs. I bet
That's
she
what I've
throws them
heard.
very well.
When I watched her throw them, she did so very eloquently. Yes.
Almost like she'd been practicing with him.
Oh,
Wow, that'd be weird.
that would be weird.
Huh. Anyway, so we're gonna move on. Let's talk about glass blown open.
Oh, yeah.
Is it it's the next stop on the national?
The next national tour is the glass blown open.
Which is it's a month and a half away,
Give or take,
Yeah,
yeah.
near the end of April, so
Last
about
of
a month
April,
and a half.
yeah.
Okay. And how many people are signed up?
1,200.
300,000.
Yeah, something like that.
So 1,200 people.
Yes.
That's
I believe
crazy.
1,200.
Ish.
I think so. I'm not positive on the actual numbers. We can
We-
pull it up on the internet.
Or
thing
we
over
could
there.
plug your app.
We have an app. Yes. You can go. I think you can even get it on those kind of phones.
Oh, Wysocki was just telling us that he's got a smartphone,
That's amazing.
isn't it? So yes, I believe there is a glass blown open
Do you
app.
have the Glass Blown Open app?
Boom! Look at that. Right
there
there.
it is. Bang. Look at that.
Yeah, I don't mess around. I prep for my guest. Well,
Yeah.
I really don't, but
Yeah.
one could say I prep for the guest. So there's an app out there for everybody to go check out. You can see it on an Apple product or on an Android product.
Yep.
And it's got all sorts of amazing information out here, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. I mean, it almost works as a message board too. So you can
Everybody's nice on
post
those.
pictures. Yeah, I mean, there's never any negativity on it.
Sweet.
It's really cool. It actually sends out push notifications.
Yep.
So,
Okay.
like, if you forgot the player party was tonight, you'll get a notification for it.
Perfect.
So,
well,
yeah.
so real quickly, I'm looking through it. Under the tourney info section, I see 2000 course schedule, pool assignments, projected AM payout, projected pro payout, what the tournament refund and cancellation policy is, the GBO's one-day junior event.
Junior event, something new this year.
Yeah, so tourney info, sponsors, schedule, map, Twitter, DD Media, and, registration. You guys could probably take that off because nobody gets to do that anymore.
That's true.
And the activity stream. So very cool. How in the world does the tiny little town of Emporia consume more than 1,200 additional people?
Huh.
Does that like double your population?
It's not
for the...
quite double the population. It's close.
Okay.
But no, they do it with open arms.
They
I
do.
mean, and you've been there. You know what
Yes.
it's like. Every marquee has the, welcome disc golfers, welcome to the Glass Blown Open. It's amazing the way, they roll out the red carpet for us, so to speak. I mean, we shut down Main Street, for a big block party for you.
Yes. So there's players' parties, there's one-day events, there's
Bowling, there's poker, movies, disc golf.
oh, you guys do some of that.
We do some of that.
Uh-huh.
And then there's going to be some new things that we're adding this year as well. So
Last year was the first Swedish bonfire,
Yes,
right?
yes,
Correct, out
yep.
at the Dynamic Disc Distribution
That is
Center, and that
correct.
was awesome. I mean, we were in front of the building doing the podcast,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
everybody was having a great time out
yeah,
there.
it's awesome.
Oh,
We
hey,
also-
I have a question for EMAC.
okay,
What is your job title?
that's a good question.
Like, Terry and I had this discussion. We were talking like, what is EMAC's job title? He's just, dynamic disc dude.
Yeah, that works.
DDD.
DDD, triple D. No, I think on my actual page it actually says course designer. So
Okay.
So that's all you do all day long?
that's it. Design disc golf courses.
Wow. I think Wysocki's going to Puerto Rico to do that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that certainly could be huge.
That's a long way away.
You'd go though.
I would go. Is he inviting me?
I don't think so.
No. Yeah, we'll talk.
But
We'll talk later.
but you do a number of things,
Yeah, I do quite a bit of things around there.
such as
Stuff. It varies. It really does from a day to day. That's what's great about our company. We have a core that we meet every Tuesday morning, where we go over things and discuss. And at this point, I'm still kind of more of a sponsored player, so to speak. But we're getting more involved in the course design stuff with our new veteran baskets that are supposed to be showing up any day now. And we're really making a big push for that. To be, big into course design, development, maybe even some redesigns here and there, or upgrades on baskets, or that kind of department.
Okay. Well, and on a more personal level, you just said you're a sponsored professional player, obviously winner of the World Championships in 2010, but you're experiencing something you're not used to. You're injured.
Yeah, I am.
And you had to withdraw from your first ever tournament a few weeks ago.
I did.
And then now you're here. You came here obviously with the intentions of playing, and
Yeah.
even next weekend's World Tour with the intentions of playing. But you're just not there. Give everyone an update on your injuries.
Well, it's a first time I've ever had a knee problem in my life, actually. It's where your two tendons, they call it jumper's knee.
Okay.
It's where your two tendons meet below your kneecap. And it's kind of pulling down, and it's pulling my kneecap down. And yeah, it can't be good. But the chiropractor said it's common, no surgery, just time off, ice, some adjustments here and there. So basically hoping to be healthy for Glass Blown Open. That'll be my next event.
And I know you started the Glass Blown Open. Have you ever missed playing in that?
Nope. I actually had a broken hand in 2009, and I played, and it was ugly, but I did play. So I've
Okay.
never not played in a Glass Blown Open.
Well, and that leads to another great question. I'm pretty proud of a couple of golf playing streaks that I have, and knowing that we started around the same time.
Yep.
Is there any particular event? Is it the Glass Blown that you've played in the most consecutive years, or is there any other event that you know you've played consecutively that is a big number?
Probably one of two. VPO,
Okay.
but my streak ended last year.
At how many?
At the first one I went to was 97.
Okay.
97 was the first year I went down there.
So probably 18 years?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And then the other one would have been the Kansas City Wide Open, and I played it every year since '96, and I've consecutively played it every year. So
Okay. Wow, that's pretty impressive. And intentions of playing this year?
I'm signed up.
Okay. Well, and that's the week after the Glass
That is the
Blown
week
Open.
after the Glass Blown Open. Yes, I will. I'm pretty confident that I'll be healthy by then.
Okay. Will you do anything, any other events that you know you're going to have to, back away from in order to ensure that?
Between here and there,
Yeah.
I was planning on going down and playing Texas State Championships.
Okay.
We have a little beach here in Emporia, the Monkey Island Open that we host at Peter Pan. Those are a couple events that I probably would have played had I been healthy. That I'm probably just going to step back and not play, and maybe get some things ready for the Glass Blown Open, make sure everything's in line for that. We're introducing a new course this year. I want to make sure everything's going smooth out there. So just a couple smaller events. But, like I've always said, this year it's a different transition for me. I'm not planning on being out on the road touring as hardcore as I have in the past. I mean, I've been doing it since '03.
Yeah.
The first time I went out was for the first NT in La Mirada.
Yes, which we had Steve Rico on the show last night.
Winner
chicken dinner.
Ever NT. Actually, a fun story about that event. I got the group of guys together to go on The Price is Right.
Really, that was your doing?
Yes, with
That is
Mace
awesome,
and Ken
yeah.
Todd and Kevin McCoy and Pat Govang.
Barry Schultz.
Yep, Barry
Billy
Schultz,
Crump.
Billy Crump. There was so
Probably
many of
Worm.
us. Matt Watt. You probably don't even know who that is.
Matt Watt doesn't ring a bell.
Avery Jenkins was there. Felberg was there. We all had the shirts that say "Play Disc Golf with Bob."
Yep, the green ones.
Yep. Yeah, I still have my W.
Nice.
So yeah, that was a good time.
And that happened the Monday. Was it the Monday right
Monday
after?
Fun Day, back when there
That
used
happened.
to be Monday Fun Days.
Yes. Now it's more like Monday, get on the road and
Monday.
travel a whole bunch.
Oh, that. Yes. Yes.
Well, and so for those who don't know about what Eric's talking about, you can go out and Google it. But back in 2003, I remember this so vividly as an outsider. But back in 2003, right after the national tour event, you organized it. That part I didn't know, but that you had organized to get on The Price is Right. And then Mace Man, Brian Mace, actually was selected to come up on stage or come on down, and then he guessed the price. Wasn't it of a skateboard?
It was a skateboard. I think it was 2 skateboards actually.
Okay. Yep.
And I think it was $750. And he won a race car bed.
Yes.
And a chimney.
Yes.
Yeah. And this was real Price is Right. Bob Barker.
Yeah, old school with the long microphone.
What's his name? Rod Roddy.
Yep.
I mean, not like Drew Carey stuff. So,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Do you watch? Price is Right anymore?
I don't.
Ever?
I don't.
What made you think of that particular show versus, say, any other? Was it just the only available game show that probably filmed in Burbank?
I watched it as a kid growing up, and always thought, man, that'd be so cool to go on this show. Or, you always see groups of people on the show.
Yep.
So I thought, let's get some disc golfers together and go on The Price is Right, make some shirts, and have a good time out of it.
Now, isn't it true that the kind of the secret to actually getting selected and have them, don't they kind of,
You go through a line, and then you talk to producers. There's 3
they're
people
looking
in a
for
chair,
charismatic people.
basically. And I think what happened was everybody that was going through the line was saying "Hi, I'm Eric McCabe. I'm a professional disc golfer. Blah 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 blah." Brian Mace comes through and says, "I'm Brian Mace. I'm a promoter of disc golf." Oh, boom! That's the guy we want.
Sure.
So boom, he got up there and he did a wonderful job
He
when he
did.
was talking to Bob before he spun the wheel. I mean, he did a great job, and it was one of the first big exposures for us.
It was, and
It was awesome.
And as I said, it's out there. It's on YouTube. It
Yeah.
kind of cycled around. I mean, like a lot of videos, just
Every
like
5 years, it comes back up.
Yeah, and just like the MTV video, you see
Oh,
that
yeah.
cycle around
Yeah.
every once in a while, which I remember watching, and I have recorded on VHS somewhere.
Yeah.
I think of Dave Falberg being on Conan.
Conan. Yeah.
I've got that literally still on my TiVo. I can't
Wow.
find a good way to
Are
get it
you
off my. I'm
serious?
not kidding. It is
Wow.
still on my TiVo at
That's
home.
that's amazing.
Probably in regular standard def, and I don't
Probably.
want to delete it, even though it's on YouTube.
You can't delete it.
I
I mean,
don't know.
it's there. You just can't do it.
You're
One
stuck
thing
with
I
that
hope-
TiVo forever.
I know, and one thing we can't delete, talk about the nostalgia and epic and changing moments, the Aces on SportsCenter.
Oh man.
I think most of those are on my TiVo. I'm
Yeah.
pretty old school, but
No, I don't blame you there. I mean, most people have DVRs. I don't know if that's.
well, it's a fancy DVR
Okay.
of sorts.
An original, maybe.
Oh, it was. It came from the Ellen Show. During
what?
her
Did you
12
go
days
on
of
the Ellen
giveaways.
Show?
No, my then girlfriend. I think she's my girlfriend still at that time. Anyway, she was in the 12 days of giveaways.
Wow.
And won this huge collection of stuff.
Okay.
A home entertainment system and a TiVo and something
and you
else.
Still have that TiVo.
And the TiVo still works because I distinctly recall looking it up and it says you have a lifetime warranty with that TiVo, and what that exactly means in their terms is the day it breaks, it's done.
Wow.
Even if that's 6 months
Cool.
later or 6 years later.
That's awesome.
And so that TiVo's got some good memories on it.
Sounds like it. I need to come watch some TiVo at your house.
I know. Screw things like Roku's or
Anything
YouTube.
high def.
Yeah, high def. Who needs that?
Who needs high def? I mean,
No.
come on.
Coming from the guy who just bought a new 55-inch TV.
Yeah. True.
So one of the contests that we love running out there, and we're still encouraging people to do it, is how they're watching live disc golf on SmashBox. We want people to send in their pictures. We want that. I think of Brett Comencioli from Illinois. He had virtually a SmashBox Super Bowl type party. I mean, he had a ton of people at his house last year.
That's awesome.
Watching it. How do you consume disc golf when you're actually looking for some?
Well, I remember USDGC this last year. I didn't get to go.
Yep.
But we did. It was part of our big Grow Disc Golf Day campaign
Okay. Yep.
in Emporia with the Emporia State University. Paige Bierkes and I actually got out and threw shots on the football field during halftime, one of the biggest rivalry games for Emporia State.
Yep. I remember this.
And we were watching the coverage in the RV in the parking lot. We tailgate every Sunday for the football games. And or Saturday, I guess it was, but we were watching. Jeremy brought his TV out, set it up, and we had the internet going, and we were watching it right there. And,
Sweet.
It was cool. Yeah. So I watch as much as I possibly can. It's most of the time I'm at the event, so it's a little harder, but I do catch up, and I do watch SmashBox. I'm a smashy. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
All right.
That's smashing.
Yeah. I mean, if I don't catch it live, I'll usually at least try to watch it the next day when I'm working.
Awesome.
Working.
Working over there.
Don't
Well,
let
we
Russ
we
go-
probably last your whole shift, so it's nice.
Absolutely.
What do you think about when people make their comments one way or another? I'm sure occasionally you come across a pro smashy, anti-DGAM, and vice versa, obviously.
Yeah.
But what do you think when you see some of those comments out
I
there?
think it's awesome. I think it's great. It's a great rivalry we have here.
So would you say right now, especially with the Latitude connection, we're like the Macbeth, and you guys are like the Wysocki, just because like we're 1 and you're 2.
Wait,
or,
I thought you were 2 and we were 3.
Oh, that's true. That's true. My bad.
We talked about this the other day.
We did.
So
we're always overshadowed by
by another podcast.
another
Are
round
they
of
out
final
here?
podcast. No,
No.
I've never seen them.
In person?
I have met them in person.
Oh, have you been on their show?
No, I've never been asked.
Me either. I've never. I mean, it's like I would go on their show if they wanted me to be on their show.
Something to aspire for, or aspire to.
Yeah. One day I'll be there.
Maybe USDGC, because they are in Charlotte. They don't do video or audio guests. You have to come in person. So.
Oh, okay.
That's how that works.
Okay. All right.
So something that we have seen is a lot more additional releases and podcasts that you guys have been doing, because we're seeing a lot of the top pros move through your neighborhood. They're picking up plastic and stopping in at the factory, and then able to catch up with you and Bobby Brown.
Yep.
That's got to keep things new and fresh and exciting.
Yeah, it's been great. You know, we've had Ricky on the show. We had Drew on the show when he was out. Just happens that Paige Pierce is best friends with Beth Klein, who works at DD and lives in Emporia. So she comes through to visit her quite often, and we had her on the show a couple times. And having the other Paige, Bjork, is on the show has been pretty good as well.
A welcomed addition,
Yeah,
for sure.
I mean, we have a little, you know, if there's a lady out there that wants to ask a question that, you know, they don't feel comfortable, they can always, we have a button for Paige.
Yeah.
So it's been a Disc Golf Answer Man's been a lot of fun. I know Bobby had the brainchild a couple years ago, and you know, we didn't know how far it would go or what would happen with it. I mean, it used to be he would call me and we would do it over the phone. I mean, if you listen to some of the original first ones, they were pretty bad. But yeah, we've
call me on the cell.
Yeah, exactly. That song was just on out there. I was getting my
Hotline
Draco.
Bling. Well, and as some already know, the Smashy history as well, in a similar sense, we thought after 2014 season, we said, well, we don't want to just put away disc golf for 6 months. There's no point in doing that.
No.
Let's keep things rolling. And originally when...
I remember you guys said that it was just going to be a winter thing.
An off-season thing.
Yeah.
And here
You
we
can't
are.
do that.
I guess not. There's
It
no
can't
off-season.
be. There is. That's the one question we get a lot is, you know, what are you doing? Or we put out a video about what to do in the off season. We always get those people from Texas and Florida and Colorado or California that are saying there is no off season, you know, which I just want to clear it. I guess off season, what we mean by off season is off season, like tournament off season.
Yes.
Not necessarily disc golf off season, because yes, we know you diehards up in Wisconsin play disc golf all year long, and props to you for that. That's awesome.
I just competed in my 21st ice bowl in a row.
Wow.
With
How cold was it? Was it at Colebrook?
This one, no. This is in Milwaukee, and gosh, it was cold out there. Yeah, it was bitter cold. I have to think about them all, but no, this was incredibly bitter cold. It was definitely below zero with wind chill and some significant winds, and it was on top of it. We had a ton of actual ice out there, so I was wearing these yak tracks or some kind of like cleats. Had you not been, you could have fallen right on your keister a bunch of times.
That's not fun.
It was all right.
I'm not a big snow guy.
No.
Or ice or cold.
And one exciting thing you guys have done throughout the years is the AT&T Stadium experience.
Yep.
Is that going on this year?
That is going on this year.
Okay.
It is happening July 20th, I believe, which is the European Masters, the Saturday of the European Masters. So there won't be any big names there this year, but yeah, it's such a fabulous event. I can't remember who came up with it at first, but a good friend Brian Lamoureux and I went out and, you know, went into the stadium and we got a tour of it, and they let us on the field and we were playing catch with the truth back and forth from end zone to end zone, just having a good time one day. And they let us walk through and design a course. And if you don't know what it is, it's you get 2 discs, you get a mid-range and a putter. You come out, you have tee times, and you play a 9-hole course. And it starts up in the stands, and you throw down onto the field, and you kind of play through the halls. And the final hole is probably the most exciting. It's from the up. What would you call it? The
Upper lot,
upper level.
yeah,
Not
an
quite
upper level area.
but like first level.
Lower lodge,
And
or
it's a
whatever they
double
call
mando through the uprights, and the basket sits on the star
Yep.
of the 50-yard line. So it's pretty cool experience, and it's really just a way to promote disc golf. You know, to get some people out there that can see it that haven't seen it before, and it's really just a good time.
it. Yeah, it sounds like it. And obviously, if it ever fell on a weekend, I would have available. I'd be
July
all over
20th.
it.
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah.
You're not going to Europe.
No, but isn't that also right around the same weekend again of the Disc Golf Pro Tour in Minnesota?
Could be. I don't know.
Pretty sure it is.
I could be wrong on the date too. So.
Yeah, the 20th I don't think is a date that. Yeah, no, that might be right.
It
But
could
anyway,
be. Just
either way, it's going to be out
stay
there.
tuned. We'll let you know exact dates, but yes, we are doing it again this year.
Awesome.
And it's awesome.
So one of the final questions I'll have for you, we see the world champion in Avery Jenkins. I was told by his brother-in-law, Nate Doss, a few days ago that Avery.
Sounds weird.
Yeah, it does. I know, but that Avery may not play an event this year. I mean, probably the World Championships. And outside of that, he wasn't certain that Avery was really playing any events. He's taken on this role. He's working with Jamie Thomas and the guys over at Spin.
Yeah, doing the commentary for the World Tour.
Do you see yourself, now that you have all this media practice with Bobby Brown throughout the years, do you see yourself switching into some kind of media role in that sense?
I could see a little bit of a switch. I don't know about as much as like doing commentary, because I mean, it's a different road, I guess. We're not taking that road. We're not taking the media road as hardcore as going out and filming like you guys do.
Okay. Yeah.
Unless are you offering me a job?
We could be. Is it awkward with your two, like your buddy and your partner and your boss in front of us?
Nah.
Okay.
They're not even paying any attention. Look at them.
Go figure. See,
They're-
that's how they
he's
feel
on his
about
phone.
you.
Look,
See, look
they're
at
all on their phones.
Johnny, we'd treat him so much better.
We would, and we'd pay him as much as we're paying Gary.
Oh, ouch. Yeah, you don't want to know about that.
He's paying you, right?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Man.
But
no, definitely, like I've always said, that I'm not going to be playing a whole lot of tournaments this year, and so on for the future. But definitely helping out with bigger events in Emporia. We'd like to run a major event every year if possible. I mean, we're putting in bids for a couple majors in the next couple years. Women's, U.S. Masters, preferably U.S. Masters in a couple years.
Okay.
And we'll see about that one, but no, I'm really focusing a lot more on the course design stuff. It's really like a passion of mine. When you have a blank canvas and you can just go out and do whatever you want, it's almost more rewarding for me to finish that course and get it in than it is to play well at a tournament anymore. So,
I hear you.
Gears are shifted. These kids are good. I'm not gonna lie.
They are, and I recognized many years ago that I didn't have the. I'm passionate about disc golf. Clearly, I didn't have the passion to practice to try to get on a touring level.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I'm blessed to play well on occasion, but that was good enough. I didn't have the drive and the determination that, especially someone like yourself who went on to win a Worlds. But
You were there.
I was.
Johnny
there.
V was there. He held the iPhone for the interview.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, that's to know we're holding phones for other people when they win the Worlds. I think that tells us that
We're
we know our role.
close. We were that close to winning Worlds ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, just
absolutely.
like
Virtually.
a phone away.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
It was very exciting, and again, to go back to what I said last night, I've been there for so many of these amazing moments in disc golf history that I'll just never forget. Seeing so many champions crowned, seeing what's how this has unfolded throughout all these years, and I just love every moment of it. And I think you've seen a lot of those great moments and experienced a lot of things yourself.
Absolutely. It's been great. I mean, like I said, I wouldn't change anything for at all for anything, because it's. I mean, since 2003 is the first time I went on tour. That's a long time, and I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot of the world. I've been in every lower 48 state, so.
You haven't been to or played in Alaska yet?
Not yet.
All right, I might beat you there then.
Oh, you're going this year.
I'm covering. I'm honored that they reached out to me. I'll see Schweberger and
nice.
and some
Yeah.
others there, and I'm traveling
King
with
of
one
the
of my best
Lake?
friends,
King of the Hill.
Hill.
King of the Hill.
Yes.
Yes.
So with Thad, who's playing this weekend, I talked to him, and I'm ecstatic to get up there and be able to throw some
It's a
discs
great
around.
event. I've heard nothing but good things about it. They had me talked into possibly coming a couple years ago, maybe it was, but I was dealing with migraines at that time, and I just couldn't get away. So
Okay. Well, pretty exciting. And then Hawaii, not yet.
yeah. Have you been to Hawaii?
No.
Maybe I'll go to Hawaii when you're in Alaska.
There. Yeah. Yes.
And then we could switch.
We could switch, and Alaska. I think if Hawaii has any kind of heat like we have this week,
Oh,
I'm out.
man, no kidding.
If
It's
I was
brutal.
your size, maybe,
it's
but
brutal
I
out there.
It's
I'm not
it's
even
warm.
playing, and it's brutal.
It's warm. It's definitely warm out there.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Well, Eric, McCabe, half a disc golf answer man? That sounds
I
kind of weird to
guess.
say.
I guess you could say that.
Or you're the disc golf answer man, and he
I'm
just
the
hits
better
record.
half. I'm the better half.
The better
right?
half. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Johnny. That's why we need him.
Yep.
Right. He's the better half.
Right.
We'd get the better half. Then that would make 3 of us. So he'd be going from a half to a third. That's not.
Yeah.
But he'd be the best third.
Oh yeah, well yeah, for sure.
Something like that. All right, pal. We're gonna cut you
I
loose.
come to Wisconsin every Tuesday night.
That's right.
Yeah.
Is it Tuesday?
Yeah. It's Tuesday. Yeah.
I thought it was.
You know.
I thought it was. Our poker night's Thursday, so I got it switched. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Okay. You guys were playing poker when we had Drew on the
Yes.
show that one night.
Yep.
That one. Now is Tuesday night a DD fun night? It seems
Every
like.
night is a DD
Well,
night for
it
us.
seems like I've seen a lot of posts and Periscopes and Facebooks and all that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
we have a good time together. I mean, it is truly. I mean, we have like 30 plus employees now, so
Yes.
I mean, it is like a tight knit family. And I mean, Denise and I, we live with Adam Searle,
Yep.
one of our coworkers. We used to live with Chris and Allison, and I mean, we've lived with just about every DD employee there is. It's kind of like a DD
You're like,
house.
yeah,
so.
you like break them in. You're the.
So it's hard not to. I mean, Bobby even lived with us for a while. So
Wow.
I mean, it's hard not to just hang out all the time. And I mean, it's an Emporia, so there's not a whole lot going on if you're not playing disc golf.
the disc golf. It's like a little sanctuary for disc golf.
It is. It's really awesome. So
Well, we're looking forward to it. We're glad to have you on the show. We're glad to have the fun banter back and forth with you guys.
Yeah.
But we're excited. The next national tour event coming to Emporia, and then one way or another, I'd love to be involved. I don't know how all the world stuff is going to shake out, but I would think if I'm not playing, I would love to be in some media role or capacity. Who knows how that's going to
I would
shake
love
out?
to have
But
you guys there live.
we'd love to
Because
love
I
to see
don't know
what.
if that's our decision though.
No,
Well-
that I heard that comes down to the PDGA. So,
Yeah.
but I'm sure you guys have some influence.
I'll put in a good word for you guys.
Yeah, you know a guy who knows some guys.
Yes.
Or something like that.
Yes.
All right, EMAC, we're going to let you go,
Hey,
buddy.
Thanks, Terry. Thanks,
Thank
Johnny
you.
B. Hi,
Thanks,
Denise.
EMAC.
See you guys.
All right, take care. So there you have it. EMAC, Eric McCabe of Disc Golf Answer Man, stepping inside so that he can give us some of the insights. And we're glad to have him and get, some of the goods, the real goods.
The real
I feel
goods.
like he avoided my Paige Pierce question. though. How did you feel
I don't.
about-
I don't think he knows.
Oh, well, that probably not. They don't know a lot over there.
No, they
Disc golf question men because they constantly don't know the answers to questions. You'd
Yeah.
have to have answers, right?
you would think if you.
Well, anyway, we can move on from there. So someone asking on the board that they have 30 employees. Yes, we were there last year and saw that it's become quite a massive operation for what they have going on. And the story will go that, Jeremy Rusko started in his house selling a few discs. And,
Yeah, on eBay or something.
Continue to grow and do everything he could from there. So, as I mentioned earlier, the Latitude Party has pretty much cleared out for the most part. I see Bobby Brown of DD here. I also see Johnny Harrison. Another big shout out to him of Plastic Addicts. You probably saw a few of his commercial today. He's stepped up and become a sponsor of what we have going on here at SmashBoxx. I see Jeremy Rusko off in a distance, of course, the owner of DD. And then Miles Parkhill of Paragon, who's been very, very helpful as the years have gone on with so many things that we do. I'll put in a plug right now. Go out to Paragon Disc Golf, click on the very first option, which is store, and you can find a SmashBox TV T-shirt there. Pretty stylish looking tee. I don't have mine here. I was wearing it yesterday, but or another day. And ow, I just got hit in the face. I got SmashBoxed. This T-shirt, we've got a bunch of them out there, all sorts of different sizes, and including mine, the schmediums. So they're all out there, and you can order those. It comes with free shipping. So go out and buy yourself a SmashBox shirt. Miles is helping us with those, and we really appreciate all the help and support.
Yeah.
Johnny, I know I asked you earlier. We don't often plug or talk too much about people helping out or donating, but some people insist on becoming some kind of a donator or sponsor, and it's easy to do. You can go to smashboxx.tv /smashboxx.tv/support, and from there it'll bring you to a PayPal option where you can enter in any denomination. I think we had a $5 one yesterday from someone.
A $10 one today.
$10 one today. So we're pretty much rolling in it.
Yeah.
You know, if we have 15 large bills. It seems like we're rolling in money at that point. That's how you get disc golf rich. But on a serious note, if you feel so inclined after watching 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 days of live coverage that we're providing to everyone free, you're more than welcome to go out and do it that way. Or like I said, if you really want something in return for your support, buy yourself a SmashBoxx TV T-shirt on ParagonDiscGolf.com.
And I did just want to say, a lot of people really enjoyed the graphics today, and I want to give a special shout out to Rick, pronounced Rick Couchane, because the Couchane, because the R is silent. Yeah, because the R is silent, so I made sure to nail that. And if you like the graphics, that's all him, because I've said it over and over. Terry and I have almost zero graphic skills between the two of us, so. Yeah, so he did all the little hole graphics, which were just real simple. Par, hole number, and distance. And I tried to get those up and mostly keep them accurate throughout the round. And he also did the lower thirds for us, the little animated spin in with the name and spin out. And he did our SmashBoxx podcast commercial, which he just surprised me with.
I haven't even seen that yet. I know you had mentioned it or said something earlier about it. I haven't had a chance to see. I've been working, but that's interesting. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's nice. It's it's kind of flashy, and it just kind of comes right at you, and it tells every Tuesday night SmashBoxxTV, and goes on like that. But so it's without people like Rick, we wouldn't be able to do what we do as well as we do. So, and I'm not saying we do things very well sometimes, because we don't always, but
we could use the help we could take all the help
we take all the help we get. And there's a lot of people that do reach out to us and say, hey, if you ever come to Michigan, let me know. I'll totally do camera work for you. And that's great. And as we do travel more, we may reach out to these people. So thanks out to everybody, the whole Smashy Army out there that's helping us out in one way or another. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, and I saw someone said that they love the SmashBoxx TV T-shirt graphic that was done by Miles over at Paragon. Clearly, they print anything and everything on all sorts of different substances and whatever. However, on all different materials and whatever else, everything from a pint glass to a coffee mug, and just bag tags. They print on a million things, but also they're graphically inclined, so they do a really great job with graphics. He mentioned that last night in opening the show, that if maybe you or your club want to do something but you don't have a good start, they can do that for you as well. So
exactly.
We love seeing that. A quick question was asked about recapping the leaderboard. I would love to do that. I've already forgotten where things are at. I think maybe not. I think on the men's side, let me know if I got this right, Johnny. I'll call this my homework for the night.
Okay.
We've got Nate Sexton on the men's side leading the tournament at 33 under par, and then I believe behind him in a three-way tie for second, we have Johnny McRae, Philo Brathwaite, and Paul Macbeth, and they're all at 32.
Yep.
All at 32 under par. So that should be easy enough for me to remember for another 20 or 18 hours, but super intense battle.
All right.
very interesting to see. On the women's side, I recall you saying that, so Kat has a 1-stroke lead. So yesterday she went to 5, and then she went to 6, 7, 6. So today I'm going to guess that is Kat at 8 under and Paige is at 7?
7 and 6.
That was where I was going to go. So Kat's got a 1-stroke lead over Paige, and then you said Paige has a 10-stroke lead over third place, which is Jennifer Allen.
Yep.
And Jennifer Allen has a 2-stroke lead, or a 2-stroke cushion in her position over Sarah Holcomb.
Correct. And even though we haven't talked about it, yeah, you nailed it. Nailed it. So, for the Masters field out there, John Baldwin shot the hot round and picked up 2 strokes on Kenny. So he's only 4 strokes down to Kenny, tied with Patrick Brown at 20 under. Kenny's at 24 under. George Smith at 18. Jason Barella, popular name, still hanging out there, just in 5th place by himself at 14 under. I mean, this is really Kenny. I mean, I don't think Jason's going to be able to catch up with Kenny, but he could maybe sneak into a 3rd or 4th place if he shoots really well. But Jonathan Baldwin and Patrick Brown are still trying to, as everyone does, chase down Kenny.
Well, we had Patrick here last night. He told us all about that, and nothing but respect and love for the champ and all of his skill sets. And yeah, he's going to have to really put on some pressure if he wants to go hunt down the champ and try and catch him. Funny, Ben Slakely was saying that he had his phone taken away 3 times in school this week because he was trying to watch SmashBoxx. So Ben, you probably should be in bed wherever you're at too. If that's one of your problems.
It's Friday night, man. Friday night.
It's true. Friday. All right, Rebecca Black says it's Friday. The Predator, which Nate Dostro is talking about a disc. I need a SmashBoxx disc. William Buckley will make that happen. Right now, we have some stamped discs from last year of some various nature, and we're also going to be probably talking to DD. We're going to be talking to our friends at Legacy. We have some Innova discs. We're going to get some Discraft discs. We're going to have a mixture of SmashBoxx discs so that everybody can, pick what they like. Question as to any aces today. I believe that's the Hog asking. None that I know of, but I got to admit, I kind of get in a zone. I get in a little tunnel vision. I try to stay on top of what's going on my card that I'm covering, but then I try to dabble around a little bit, but I have not heard of any aces. Not to say they didn't happen, but nothing was brought to my attention at least.
There was none in the top half of the open field. If there was someone way earlier in the day, that's a possibility, but as far as the top 50 players, I don't believe there was a single ace today.
Okay, we've got Ronald saying big round of applause for all the coverage this week. Thank you, Ronald. We certainly appreciate that. We've got Liz Lopez on the board coming from Australia, mate. Hey, Liz, we'd love to say hello. Hope all is well. I know I remember you being out here, obviously, for many years here at the Memorial, and hope all is well.
When is Liz coming back to the States? Do we know? Is she going to be there?
Come in on the board.
Is she going to be there for a year or 2 years or just a couple more months? I don't know. We miss her here in the States.
I think frequently their 6-month visas seem to be super common, so that would be my guess as to when we may see her is at the end of that 6 months. But
and I'll say on camera, I'm a big fan of the new haircut, Liz. So, nice.
Wow, there you go. I mean, and if Johnny V approves of the haircut, you're set.
You're set.
Well, awesome. William says, Scotch, cigar, woman, SmashBoxx, life is good. I don't know what else you want.
There's not much.
That sounds like the complete package. Do we have anything else that we really need to hit on? This is going to be our last podcast until Tuesday. I know we've gotten some heat and we've gotten some pressure. People want us to come back and wrap things up after tomorrow night, but that hasn't been the formula.
No, then there's a couple reasons behind that. One, Saturday night, usually, or we'll just say at the end of the tournament, whether it's a Saturday or a Sunday, the players tend to scatter, whether they get on the road or they just go out and do their own thing. There's not a good place for everyone to maintain. We could come on and talk just the two of us, but it's not nearly as much fun. We get to do that every Tuesday. The second reason is I'm not going to be around. So.
Oh, okay. So you're busy. Okay, I'll just hang out here.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to like a charity, a real fancy charity event we've gone to for the past couple of years. Some friends of ours invite us every year. It's like a gift of adoption.
What do they give you?
That's about it. So we do that, and it's like a big trivia night, and everyone gets together and has a lot of fun. So I think I'm going to end up getting dressed before the round, because literally, probably right after we close, I'm going to walk upstairs, say hello to the babysitter, and get out of town. So.
Okay. Liz says she's been there for 4 months. She says thanks for the compliment, and but she didn't give us a date. Maybe she's trying to keep it a secret from all of her really special fans that want to know when she's going to be back. Maybe it'll be a secret as to when she returns. But we travel well. Enjoy your time over there, Liz. We all love seeing the updates of you living large over there in Australia, which is awesome. Speaking of Australia, briefly, I had a conversation with Chris Finn of Down Under Disc Evolution. We had a quick conversation today. He's going to be really busy. I think we're going to see him a lot. I know he's supporting the Pro Tour, which we're covering, and he's a very active guy, and you're seeing a lot of people wearing his attire, which is great to see as well. Another disc golf endeavor is awesome to see. I've got Johnny Harrison of Plastic Addicts in front of me. He's been working on a number of things and supporting us throughout the week. We appreciate him. He was actually carrying around the men's leaderboard today. So.
Oh, really?
He came out on to get a little bit of work in and do some stuff, and next thing you know, he's huffing it around the course. And we know he's as the commercial showed, they're working on some new discs that he talked about with us yesterday. Maybe we'll get a few more details out of him tomorrow. So that's great to see. And we got to thank our boy Josh over at Boom. And I think I finally have it all figured out. It's Boom Box 16. So that's BOOM BOXX 16. That will get you a discount. And if you want to go check out boomdg.com, he's been a huge supporter of the show and everything we're doing this week as well. So lots of different guys doing a lot of different things to help us out. We appreciate it. We appreciate Spinners on the Green right here in Scottsdale, Arizona, located right off the Vista Del Camino course, as well as Duke Sports Bar and Grill where we're at, Sierra Nevada, who's a sponsor of the event, and then I'll say the PDGA, of course. I think we take that for granted that they're putting on this national tour, but the PDGA, and last but not least, the amazing generosity and hospitality from the entire staff and crew and everyone that's involved over at Discraft.
They've been
if they weren't
amazing.
Involved, this event wouldn't be called the Memorial Championships presented by Discraft. So they're stepping it up this year, and they've got the Ledgestone Insurance Open. I know they're working at the Brent Hambrick. They run the USAM Nationals. They're working with Johnny Harrison and what he's doing for some of his events, and they continue to support disc golf in a number of ways as well. And we're glad they're deciding to support SmashBoxx too. So.
Did you end up watching that commercial I made for them?
I have not watched anything. I'm sorry, I did.
Your name's in it.
My name, I saw that.
Did you catch that?
Yeah, I did. That my name was on like an old XL of sorts.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because if you look closely, your name's on the XL, and the very next disc under it is an MRV, and for a while, all my MRVs, I'd put a D at the end, so it'd be Mr. VD, and so it went right. I made sure to put it right from Terry, and then me, and then just kind of scattered down some more, so from some more classic Discraft discs.
Yeah, it was. It was funny seeing that, and I didn't get a chance, and I know you were quick on the edit. I would have removed your hands part. I would have just chopped.
I thought about it. I really did, just kind of cut like just the hands out, but I think it's kind of it was just a little different because I think it would look weird if discs just suddenly disappeared. And so I like the coming off of the stack. So.
Okay, well, we all have creative differences.
It was a artsy call.
I'm getting heckled on the board saying that they want a signed rock from me. Maybe we can make that happen. We might have some for sale. So yeah, we could make that happen if somebody wants to support SmashBoxx and buy a signed rock from me. We could probably make that happen. Can't wait for tomorrow. As being said on the board, I'm pulling for Philo or McBeast. Okay. Well, there's clearly going to be a very divided, fan base out there. You've got, the number one ranked Paul McBeth. You've got Nate Sexton. You've got Philo. So you've got really three Innova guys there. You've got Johnny McRae, a Latitude 64, a Trilogy guy. So you got a couple different brands there, and you can pull for whoever you like. Should be interesting.
Well, I'm pulling for Paul and Philo, and Ricky, I hope, bumps up into that top 4. And
this has nothing to do with your Yuli's picks from
gosh, no. And then it'd be nice if Uli kind of scooted up into 4th maybe, but that's going to be tough. Ricky and Uli are going to have a real mountain to climb to get up into that top 4.
Well, it should be interesting. I think we're going to be drowning in sunshine. It's going to be a gorgeous day out at Fountain Hills. I may need to bring an umbrella for the sun, which is something you don't ever say in Wisconsin, but I may need to do that. There's going to be a huge gallery. The amateur side, we should run through this. We should have ran through it earlier. Are the scores posted on the amateur side of things? And my computer's a little slow. Can you pull those up quickly, Johnny? We should at least be giving some shout-outs to all of our other divisional champions.
I'm going to take Dana's. Before we do that, I'm going to take Dana's move, and I'm going to give a big hug out to Ross Brandt, who Minnesota guy, and is tied for the very last spot that he still has to play. So 1 stroke worse, and he wouldn't get to play tomorrow. So he is teeing off at 10:18.
Possibly.
He could still cash. I know, but there's always that, depending on where the cash line is. I don't know, but because I haven't looked at the payouts. So I don't know. At that rate, for me personally, I'm kind of like, I wouldn't mind just sleeping in and showing up whenever. But Ross is a competitor, so I don't think that's his mentality at this.
No, well, he anywhere, if you still have a chance to cash, you should be happy about that. The real big hug should go to the person just below him.
There's like I didn't recognize any of them, and there's like 7 or 8 of them all tied at 6 under that did not make the cut. But in as far as the amateur or the advanced goes, we have a clear winner with Patrick Whelan, Whelen.
Okay.
Rating? Can you guess his rating? Take a guess at his rating.
In advance?
Yes.
Take a guess at his rating. Wow. I'm going to say 939.
Oh, close. 932.
Okay. Wow, that's a great guess.
Yeah, I thought you would have guessed a little higher, but then again, I guess asking it might have given it away a little bit.
Was either going to guess really high because he had he has a great rating in his quote unquote sandbagging, or he had a moderate rating. So 932, and to best this field in advanced is very impressive. So congratulations.
That's right. He shot a 14 under on the 3 rounds, followed up by Jack Liu, who shot a 13 under, who's rated 956. So those guys went 1 and 2, and then they had a 3-stroke lead over Kobe Frampton and Wes Morrison.
Okay. And divisional titles do we have?
Oh, I got to keep scrolling. There's so many advanced players.
All right. Let's and not to slight them, but let's read off the champs in each division.
Champs in each division. Advanced women. I'm going to mess up this last name. Rebecca Hyam.
Yes, she's Minnesota, Wisconsin-ish native, actually. Go
on. Advanced Masters, James Salusi.
Okay.
Advanced Masters Women, Michelle Berghardt. Advanced Grandmasters, Edge Dostal. Advanced Senior Grandmasters, Dave Linger. And that's it.
Okay. Well, congratulations to all of those winners. Congratulations to everyone that's done. You got 3 rounds in on 3 great courses. And you better be out there tomorrow. And if you're not, you should be in your hotel watching SmashBoxx.
That's right.
On one of your devices. Is that a fair way to say it?
That is. Well, I'd prefer if they were out there and watching on one of their devices.
Well, we don't want them messing with any of our signals.
That's true. Don't stay off your phones if you're out there. Go walk. Here's what you should do: get out there early, walk around with the women, give them some love, watch them, find out who's gonna, who determines to be the winner there, and then catch up with the men who will probably be about a third of the way through the course, depending on timing and whatnot, and take care of that.
Excuse me. It's been a long week. I'll admit, for the podcast, I did take like 7 minutes to just sit, and I didn't touch my phone, and I didn't eat, which I still haven't done. I didn't do anything. I just kind of zoned out for, I think it was about 7 minutes, and it's been exhausting. It's been so rewarding and so fulfilling and so fun, but it's been genuinely exhausting as well. So
that's really
a good day tomorrow.
That's funny that you say that, because right after the broadcast, I sat here and I was like, ugh, it was just after 7, like 7:10 or 7:15. I went upstairs and I hadn't eaten either, and I just sat there in my living room just thinking, like, I don't know what I want to eat. I don't want to move. I'm kind of just mentally exhausted. I ended up having a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. It was the easiest thing. I didn't even have to cook. I just slapped it together. I sat on the couch. Family's gone. And I just ate it until they came back just about 8 o'clock.
Well, I think we can put a pretty bow on this, pack it up, and sign off as the second year in a row of doing wrap-up show podcast, which were initiated right here at the Memorial last year. This was our first go at it a year ago when we said, yeah, sure, we'll give you guys golf for 4 or 5 hours all day, and then we'll babble for another 2 or 3 hours at night. But we're ecstatic. Did you have any highlights ready for anyone?
No, we didn't have time to gather those between the late round and.
But it's been an awesome week. We have 25% to go yet tomorrow in the final round, the final day. It's drama and excitement and great weather and great golf, all rolled into one. And I'm genuinely ecstatic, and I'm anxious. I'm anxious to see how it's going to unfold, and I'm anxious to hope that we can pull off our best broadcast day to date. So we try to make every single one better, and tomorrow will be no difference. I hope tomorrow is going to be our best broadcast that we've ever put on.
I agree.
All right, so I won't read through all the sponsors yet again. You've heard them all. I want you to go out and thank them at some point. Order from them, purchase from them, thank them on Facebook, follow them on their accounts, do all those things for all those great sponsors we've talked about. I'd like to thank our very pointed yet informational guest in that we had Ricky Wysocki here tonight. We also had Eric McCabe, your 2010 world champion, and insightful and helpful and entertaining on all different levels. So for the PDGA, for Discraft, for Sierra Nevada, and those primary sponsors, I'd like to say thanks for everyone that tuned in tonight. You were here all week. We know we're going to see you tomorrow during the live broadcast. We appreciate it. And for Johnny back home, Joe Height, as well as our cameramen, Gary to the O and Miles Parkhill, I'm Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy. We'll catch you guys tomorrow for our final day coverage on Saturday, where you can, of course, step inside the Smash Box.